Contemporary art can be enlightening, liberating, frightening, disturbing, and a lot more. It's the art that's being made today, and it offers us fresh perspectives on the world that we think we understand. Well, as part of our ongoing series, Art Fusion, we spoke recently with Lisa Melandri, the director of the Contemporary Art Museum of St. Louis, and Juan Williams Chavez, an artist. And they told us about their thoughts on contemporary art today and where it's headed.
It's this idea of the expansion of the definitions of art, what art can be, and that has really happened and been kind of prolific over the last 50 years. And so it's true, I think a lot of artists now see this huge landscape with all of these choices, and choice is indeed the word that always comes to mind about what's so different about making work now as opposed to maybe what people were doing, a century ago. And one of the things that I think is really our job and that we take great pleasure in is being able to show that diversity of theme, of medium. So it's really interesting, we're standing in this space and we have this almost minimal background with things with incredible sort of geometry and a kind of clean open space. But when you come here next month, it's gonna be, 160 paintings in here. This is also incredibly abstract. It's sort of about space, but we also see that there's an incredible range and rise of figurative painting. And what's really great about work being made today is it's a lot of tools in the toolbox, It's not just one singular thing. And so I think from a sort of larger perspective, we're really lucky because we can see that and pluck out the various directions in which this art is going.
The kind of work that I do addresses cultural and community issues through the built environment. Probably what I'm known for right now, which is the Pruitt-Igoe Bee Sanctuary, which is a public proposal to the city of St. Louis to transform the urban forest of Pruitt-Igoe into a public space. I really like the idea of taking a vacant building or a vacant lot, and really trying to develop, creative strategies that could help energize and bring that vacancy back to life.
One of the things that I think is really wonderful about Juan Chavez's work and about having him here in St. Louis is I think he's a representative of a very, very interesting and salient kind of art, which has to do with motivating and creating movement and activity in other people. So rather than being an artist who makes something singular, independently, and then puts it into the world, Juan is an artist whose artwork is that moment where people come together and make something together. I also think it's interesting because it changes the very nature of what an object is. So instead of people coming together and maybe making a sculpture or painting a mural, that your artwork can be planting a sweet potato, that your artwork can be cleaning up a park. And this incredibly socially engaged work, I think, is very much a part of our most recent art-making landscape. And aren't we lucky that we've come around to this moment of collaboration and activity as a definition for what art can be.
With the incredible advancement of the internet and crowdfunding and all these other opportunities, artists have probably the best opportunity right now to be independent and have a lot of tools that they can use to do their projects.
One of the points of art is that artists have always transformed our perspectives on the world. They've always been able to sort of make us see things in a way that we hadn't noticed them or hadn't thought about them.
Artists are always responding to the generation before. For anyone that's just like stepping into the museum and looking at art, it's kind of important to understand the context and what the artist is responding to and how he's contributing his ideas to the art history dialogue.
So I think it always has been very much in the wheelhouse of the artist to sort of want to expand the way that we view the universe. And it is only with historical distance that you look back and you realize that some things that may have been incredibly outrageous are really not that outrageous. And I think that we have that same thing happening today, where there are things that you look at and you think, you know, you hear the same old, well, that's not art, or I could have done that, or anything like that. But I think in sort of historical perspective, you'll relook at those things and think, yeah, but I didn't do that. And it did make me think about the world in a different way. So I think that work that's being made now, so again, the new, the now, this what is contemporary art, can be so many different things that inherently in that there means, it means that there may be many things that are unrecognizable, that you don't sort of think of as art in the traditional ways, like you do about a painting or a sculpture or a drawing. And that we, you know, humanity, we sometimes see something we don't recognize. And rather than allowing ourselves that moment to just kind of take it in and think about it, and then decide whether you like it or not, because you certainly don't have to like it. But I think we get scared. We get nervous, we feel dumb, and that shuts us down. And again, I think the most important part of looking at contemporary art is that it has this transformational quality to it. And people should feel empowered to like it or not like it, but they should feel empowered to give it a try. Artists have always transformed our perspectives on the world. They've always been able to sort of make us see things in a way that we hadn't noticed them or hadn't thought about them. So I think that work that's being made now, the new, the now, this what is contemporary art, can be so many different things that inherently in that there may be many things that are unrecognizable, that you don't sort of think of as art in the traditional ways, like you do about a painting or a sculpture or a drawing. I think the most important part of looking at contemporary art is that it has this transformational quality to it. And people should feel empowered to like it or not like it, but they should feel empowered to give it a try.